Okay, this lesson is on how to get other materials that you've already made into your Smart Notebook. So if you've got anything that you can send to a printer, you can send to your Smart Notebook and interact with it in your classroom. And I'm going to give you the two main examples. I've got a PowerPoint up on how to determine the perimeter of an object. And the downside of PowerPoint is that if I just present it, I can't really draw on it. I can't really save my drawings on it like I can with a notebook. So I've got this PowerPoint that I want to switch to a notebook presentation. And all I have to do is, while I'm in the PowerPoint, I go to Print. And on my printer, I go and choose Smart Notebook Print Capture. And I'm going to do all the slides, and I'm just going to say Print. And when I do that, it's going to convert every single one of the slides from my PowerPoint into a slide in Notebook. Now, I will tell you not everything transfers the same. If you've got animations of your PowerPoint, it may not, well, it will not come over as an animation in Notebook. But if you've just got a straightforward PowerPoint with text on it that you go through, it will come over quite nicely. Now, there is one thing you have to do. I'm going to go up to the very top slide. And if you look up here, it doesn't really center up with my slide. So when I do this, the first thing I do is to kind of drag it to the center or to the top, and then I lock it. And you could lock it by dragging down to the word locking and hit lock in place, or just hit Control K. And I'll show you why I lock it. If I'm on this slide and I pick up my pen and I want to start writing and say, hey, we're going to talk about the area, the perimeter today, and how to find the distance around an object by going through perimeter, you can see I can use my pen just fine. If I go to an unlocked one and I go and do the same thing, if I accidentally pick an arrow, look what happens. I can move the underneath, whereas on the last one, if I can't do anything to the underneath, the slide stays where it is. So I like to take the additional minute or two to center those up and hit Control K to get, to get that on there. So I have to select it, I hit Control K. By the way, Control L deletes any writing that I've got on there. So I just take it, I center it, Control K. Center it up, Control K. It's, you know, you could work with it the way it was, but every once in a while, if I went to hit Control L right now to get rid of the writing, for instance, if I had been on here and I said, okay, we're going to calculate the perimeter around the outside of this triangle, and then I went to hit Control L to get rid of that writing, it also gets rid of the slide because it's not locked there. Whereas if I had clicked on it and hit Control K, now if I can Control L, it just gets rid of my writing. So it really is worth the time to go through and just center those up, Control K. If you're transferring it from PowerPoint to, oops, hit the wrong one. I hit Control K and I hit Control L again, just to get those pre-done. And what I will do is I will go and I transferred all my stuff into a notebook file, and then I go and say File, Save As, and I'll save it as, I made a notebook lesson folder called Perimeter, or whatever naming convention you want to have. And then if I write all over this first block, I can just reopen it and it's back to the pristine way it was. And if I want to save it with my notes, I just put my period or the day at the end of it, so I know when I edited this one last or worked on it last. So I keep kind of a blank one and the edited one too. So that's how I get a PowerPoint one. Again, really easy. I just go in my PowerPoint, just say File, Print, pick Smart Notebook, and then hit Print, and it'll go in there. There's anything that I've got digitally, I can do that with though. So I'm going to do another one. In fact, I'm going to use an example from someone else's course. Mr. Alexander has in his calculus course PDF files for all of his students to be able to print out if they want to, or know the problems that he's working on as a basis for his notes. I'm going to go and open up one of those. Now, because it's digital, I can turn it into a notebook file too. So let's say he wants to use his digital whiteboard and he wants to be able to write on these without using a marker. All he would have to do is come down here to the print pop-up, and he's going to print. There's a little trick here. You want to switch it to portrait. If you say auto, you don't know how it's going to show up. Because it's a portrait. Screen, we want to say we're going to do it in portrait. Again, I'll pick the Smart Notebook Print Capture, and then I'm going to say print, and then those are going to go and become slides in a new Smart Notebook file. And for some reason they went to the other one I had open, so they're over here. Now, I will show you one thing that, yeah, they overwrote my perimeter one because I had that open. They're huge. His are very large. So what I might have to do for the problems, what did I do? I see something I forgot to do. Okay, so I closed it out. I'm going to hit print again. And when I go from a PDF, I'm going to pick the printer first. I'm going to say it's portrait, and then I want to fit it to the size of the page. And I didn't mean portrait, I meant landscape. It's a landscape screen, not a portrait screen. There's two mistakes I made. And when I go and hit print, now what should happen is it should open in a notebook file, and it should fit to the pages that I've got up there now, which you can see it does. So again, I might want to slide it up and hit that Control K so that I can write on the problems a little better without them accidentally moving. So now if I was the calculus teacher and I wanted to go through here, I could take up my pen, got his obvious opening statement here in his problem. He's got what he's going to go over now, and now when I interact with this, I'll be able to save whatever, might not be big block because that's the problem color. I might go through and now I can do the different colored stuff. I can save the notes afterwards. I could record the class if I wanted to save it, to post it on my blended learning site, and I can transfer, like I just showed you, any document over to a notebook file to use to be able to record, to export them as PDFs, and to use them in my classroom to teach off of. So that's how to convert other documents into a Smart Notebook file. And again, if I was going to do this as a class, I might convert that and save it before I start writing on it, so I've got a blank one to reopen at subsequent classes or subsequent periods.